Hi, John. Thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience of what it was like working with us here at the Abundant Accountant in our 8-week sales mastery course. Before we dive in, I'd love it if you could share where your firm is at in the country, John, and what does your firm focus on from a perspective of services, bookkeeping, stuff like that.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate it and had a wonderful time in the sales mastery course. My firm is based specifically in San Antonio, Texas, here in the heart of Texas. We focus in on bookkeeping for our construction, franchise, and attorney clients.
Awesome.
And that's what we do.
Lovely. And can you describe, John, like what were things like in your firm before we started working together? What do you feel your main challenges that you were faced with at the time?
My main challenges, Michelle, is that I was getting appointments, but I just wasn't closing them. I didn't have a process. I would just throw various things against the wall and see if they stuck. With a couple of people, I would do like, ooh, here's a price chart that I got from somebody. With a couple of other people, it'd be a different kind of sales process, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so, so there's a lot of confusion, in regards to what we were doing. And we were frustrated. I was frustrated specifically because I was not converting as well as I thought I should, especially with the
Right.
numbers. And I'm a numbers guy. So I was tracking my numbers, how many calls I make a day, how many appointments, et cetera, et cetera. And just wasn't converting them.
Yeah. And when you weren't converting and you were kind of throwing stuff on the wall to see what stuck, how many clients did you miss out on, or what was the total revenue you missed where you said, okay, I'm so frustrated, I need to go fix the problem now?
No, it didn't take a lot. I'm pretty proactive, Michelle. So I started really working on client retention, et cetera, in October.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I first reached out to you in January. So I
So it
would
took you
probably
three
say
months to figure it out. Like,
3 months. Yeah,
keep
three
going
months.
with
I
it.
didn't want to take 3 years or anything like that. So it took me 3 months. So I'd probably say we probably lost about $20,000, $30,000 a year in annualized revenue. Because we're
Yeah, but
bookkeepers,
that's a
we look
lot,
for, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Missing out on 20 to 30,000 of annualized revenue in a 90-day period, and you're like, okay, I got to make a change. Kudos to you for figuring it out so quick that you needed support around that, you know?
Well, thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just said thank you.
Oh, yeah. Um, so you reached out, and before
Mhm.
you enrolled in our 8-week sales mastery course, did you have any reservations or fears about whether this would work for you when you had your initial call with us?
I don't know. I don't think so. You know, I saw I went to a couple of yours and Cameron Montgomery's free webinars that you would do,
Yes.
seminars that you did. You obviously knew what you were doing. I did my research and looked at your website, the Pitch Queen, and of course the Abundant Accountant.
Yes.
You know, got some testimonials on my own. Talked to people who had gone through your course,
You did
and
a lot of
you know,
research.
well, you have testimonials on your website, so you can just reach
Yeah,
out to these people. You can find them on LinkedIn, right? So,
totally.
yeah,
Went the
yeah,
extra mile, John.
yeah. So, well, I like doing my research, and Ina will tell you. She sends me on, my wife sends me on research projects all the time. But
Oh,
anyway, so yeah, so I did that, and so yeah, once I started talking to actual people who used your program, then I received the reassurance that I needed to go forward. When I talked to Molly.
oh, lovely. Awesome. Okay. Was there anything else that maybe you heard from other people when you were doing your due diligence and your research or watching any of our testimonials or being on any of the webinars that you felt was unique and different than maybe other coaching programs or other things that you researched?
I would say that for the testimonials I saw, the emotional tone that came off most was relief
Yeah.
and excitement. Like a big burden was lifted off of many people's shoulders
Yes.
because now they have a process. They know exactly. To your point, we are numbers people. We are process people. We like talking about results and numbers, and if you improve this ratio by 10%, blah blah blah. But yeah, but knowing your approach to sales, and not just your approach. I call it the Weinstein approach, but the Weinstein process. But having it broken down for us, given what we do, was a great and critical help,
Yeah.
in making it work.
Oh,
And that's what I got from a lot of the testimonials.
okay. Yeah. Relief, burden off your shoulders, all that.
Yes.
What did you feel for yourself? Like, what do you feel was the most significant transformational feelings that you felt in just an 8 week period going from, January to now or whatever it was? Let's just say in the
Yeah.
last 60 days. How'd you feel before versus besides what you've already shared, frustrated, you lost 20, 30 grand from missed revenue, your numbers weren't, you weren't converting at the rate you knew you could. To how do you feel now about what you've created in the transformation?
I, I feel in control.
Mm,
We've had situations where we have had, potentially big money contracts that we have
yeah,
decided not to do because of lifestyle concerns. Now we went ahead and we applied the Weinstein attitude. We're going to price this thing so that if we get the work we don't like, we're going to like the money that we get for it.
yes,
But so we didn't get the work, which is just fine,
yes.
because we didn't want to. The very nature of the work just wasn't in our wheelhouse, and so it was a definite lifestyle change. Another thing is just actual confidence in knowing that I have a process by which
Hmm.
to filter people, and knowing that part of the process is that we're not just trying to win them, we're trying to filter them, right? And
Yeah.
so that's part of it. And I will say the last one was a sense of value,
Mm,
especially in doing the not the opportunity cost exercise, but the self-worth exercise.
hmm.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I can't recall. It's in the same spreadsheet, but the one where you
Yes.
put together how much time you put in your career and your
Yes.
CE hours and things like that. Seeing that put down makes you realize, oh yeah, yeah, I'm way undercharging for what I'm worth.
Yeah.
And so
Love
so
it.
so yeah, so the feeling of empowerment there was definitely needed.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you are in control and have your process that I know you're following to the T on the Weinstein approach. I love that. Are there any financial successes that you would love to share that you've had in the last 8 weeks that you know are just going to transpire into future reoccurring revenue for you?
So I did mention one in the class, the last one that we got.
Yes.
It was a franchisee who has a couple of franchise units in Houston. We
Mhm.
went through the entire process, document, the what bothers you about your business,
Yeah, we don't need to
are
get
you
into
search,
those
yeah, et
details
cetera, et
here.
cetera.
Just
So yeah,
tell
so we
us,
went through, yeah,
tell
we
us
went
the
through the entire
results,
process.
John.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't want to give away your secrets here. So we went through the entire process with him and just landed him, and it just felt great. It just felt awesome just to be able to just get it in and done
Yeah.
within a week.
What was the
And
increase in fees?
so we charged them. I mean, not just to keep the math simple, we charged them $500 a month.
Yep.
We probably would have charged about 350 for the bookkeeping, so it was an extra $1,800 a year annualized
Yeah. That's
on
great.
that. And but even more importantly, it was just the fact that we got him in, we understood the situation, we got the process done, we landed him, signed the
You
engagement
got
letter, got
paid
the pay.
too.
And there you go. Yes.
Yeah, you got paid
Yeah.
up front. That's a big deal. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
And so
congrats.
yeah, so we're
Um,
having our onboarding meeting next Tuesday.
ooh,
So
love
that's
it.
one of them. That's one of them.
Yeah, that's one of many. But I know
Correct. We've
there's,
had we've had other situations where our clients ask us for free information, and we're like, well, that'll be an hour,
yeah,
and according to your current contract, and so we added it. So, 65 here, 90 there, it all adds up.
it all adds up.
It
Yeah.
all adds
You
up.
know the
That's correct.
total revenue gain that you've had in just the last 60 days? Approximately?
I don't. Yeah, I should know this. I was actually looking at our invoices about an hour ago. I would probably say um, annualized gain will probably be about $12,000.
That's
So
significant. You
yeah,
should
I
be
mean that's
very
just in the
proud of
last 6 months, but yeah,
yourself.
last
Last
60 days.
60 days, not
Yeah,
60.
60 days. Yeah, 60 days. That's correct.
So John, I know there's firm owners that are skeptical, right? And
Mhm.
honestly, I love that actually, because they're like you, they're going to do research, due diligence, and before you enrolled with us here at the Abundant Accountant, what made you feel that this decision was something different? And why do you think this actually worked for you versus maybe other things that you had tried in the past?
Um, so I think the thing that makes the abundant accountant different than the other things is that you offer a process.
Hmm.
You don't offer a piece of the process.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the solutions that you'll find on Facebook and LinkedIn, et cetera, they tend to to your point, they solve problems like how much should I charge for my bookkeeping service, et cetera, et cetera. And um, and that's a wrong question to ask. The right question is how to best address this client so I can serve their needs and get paid properly in the process. And and so may have like derailed my train of thought here, but that's largely what I got from it. It was just the
You got
process.
a full
Yeah,
360 process.
full
Now,
360. That's correct. There was no like piecemeal about
no,
it. It was more,
everything.
holistic, holistic, full circle,
Awesome.
approach to the entire thing.
And John, when you speak about process, just because a lot of firm owners sometimes think that's some new thing to their tech stack, a new
Hmm.
CRM, a new software, that was none of that with us. Could you share and
No,
elaborate what process means to other firm owners based on what you experienced with us? Because it's not more tech, it's not another CRM, it's not another piece of software. That actually has nothing to do with what you're referring to as process. Can you share a little on that from a firm owner's perspective?
of course, of course. As a firm owner, you need to be flexible enough to be able to change. And so what you offered was a paradigm shift in
Mm.
the ability to address sales and getting and onboarding and getting clients through the door.
Yes.
It was a and so when I talk about the process, it is not just piece of paper that says step one, step two, step three.
Right.
It's the reorganizing of your mind and the way that you think, so that you are better able to answer your questions and land the client without chasing them
And getting paid. So
and getting paid. Yes,
we give you the steps and the order and all the different elements, but I think you nailed it on the head, a paradigm shift. It's the way you
correct.
think and the mindset. Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you, John, so much for sharing your
Appreciate it.
insights with other firm owners that might be like you that are going to go now read every testimonial and check out our website and LinkedIn and Google reviews, and you can read John's there too. But for
Yep.
someone who is maybe on the fence, or they're another bookkeeping, accounting, fractional CFO, tax firm owner, and they were in your same boat about 60 days ago, frustrated, not closing clients, missing out 20, 30,000 of annual revenue here and there. What would you say to them that you wish you would have heard in one of these videos? Is there anything else that you'd love to share that you think might help a firm owner understand more about who we are and what we do and why you thought this process was amazing, or anything else you want to share?
I mean, the process is amazing, but to your question, to the firm owner who's thinking about delaying this or waiting 2 months or waiting 5 months, it's like my decision when I started playing the piano. It's like I'm going to be 2 years older anyway. Do I want to be 2 years older and know how to play the piano, or do I just want to be 2 years older? And
Right.
so you're not going to do this program and you're still going to have the same sort of frustrations, et cetera, with your sales. It's going to be 2 months later and you're
Yeah.
still going to feel the same frustration. But you know, are you taking steps to actually change that? And, if you're not being proactive, then why in God's name are you even in business?
In business.
Sorry.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I just
like
don't know what to
you
say.
you were proactive right out the gate. What would you share with a firm owner that thinks they just need more leads or they need to do more marketing first versus have this process in place to make sure they convert? Because you just explained beautifully that you didn't have a sales process and you missed out on those conversions. But a lot of times we hear from firm owners, well, I need to do marketing first. I need to get a funnel. I need to do say not sales, but get marketing and leads and do lead generation before I can have a sales process where it's kind of like the chicken and the egg.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So sorry about that. So to that question, no. If you're worried, if you're worried about the fact that you're not getting enough leads, then you need to concern yourself about converting the leads that you have. If you don't want to like burn 100 leads without a sales process, because what good is that going to do to you? You get the sales process and then you get the leads. And once
Correct.
you get the leads, then you'll start getting the referrals and then you'll start to, slow down the marketing. But what good is the marketing if you can't land them?
The client.
No.
Yeah, no,
And
I
that's
love that. I mean, we preach that here all the time. I just was wanting you to share your perspective because you were in that position and you did have the marketing in place first, but didn't have
mhm,
the sales process. And
correct.
missing out on that revenue not only kept you frustrated, but also your bank account must have been a little frustrated and weary at times too.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm a quick study. So, I just decided,
Yeah.
things need to change. And so here we are.
Well, thank you, John, so much for taking out the time. It's been a true honor. You're such a great student, executor. I'm so proud of all the work that you've done. And I know it's just going to compound every single
Oh, well,
enrollment opportunity that you have. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that maybe I didn't ask you before we wrap up for today?
no, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'll be interested when you said that you are reorganizing and redoing a lot of your classes. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That you're refilming a lot of the,
I've spent the last, how long have we been doing this? 7 or 8 years. So a lot
yeah,
evolved. So I just said, okay, I'm going to do, a refresh and just really try to put everything more cohesive together. So now
yeah,
you have a 360 and I'm taking you all around the circle again. So
yeah.
that's what,
Okay.
my gift is to others because I think like you and your business, you're always evolving, right? You're always doing continuing education. You're always bringing more to the table for your clients. So in the next year, when you have new clients, you're always delivering more. And I always want to be over delivering. I always want
Yeah,
to under promise and over deliver. And that's why I think people like you get results that you do.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for being here and thank you for
Thank
being
you. Of
the
course. Thank
abundant
you very much. We appreciate it.
and sharing your wisdom and also your experience with other firm owners that might be considering enrolling in our 8-week sales mastery course. So thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Michelle.